Hello, welcome to another edition of What the Hell is Wrong with My Z. Today, nothing's wrong with my Z, I'm just making some improvements there's my 240Z, 1972 240Z. But that's not what we're working on today, we're working on the 2006 350Z. And I'm making some improvements to the reflectors. I'm making them into daytime running lights. So if you have a 2006 350Z, you know the daytime running lights have this orange, icky light on it that nobody likes and looks stupid. And we're going to change that into a Audi-style daytime running light. So let me show you some of the things that I've been practicing on and how I did it. First things first, I had to take apart the old reflectors, which came with the Z, and they're actually a three-piece reflector. You have the clear plastic, and then inside that you have a reflector surface, and then you have the mounting plastic. So I read some things online on how to take these apart, and none of that really worked. I read a thread that said put it in the oven at 250 degrees for 5 minutes exactly, and it'll just come apart. And that's not at all what happened. What happened was it bowed. You can see that there. See how it popped out like that? It got super hot and it just warped the clear plastic. So I tried it on the old one because these replacement ones that are clear, see how that's nice and flat, are 80 bucks for the set. So I didn't want to practice on these because well, obviously I don't want to practice on those. So what wound up happening is I just figured out that the very edge, focus, the very edge is super glued, and you can see it there. It's just a tiny little bit of super glue that comes from the factory. So I grabbed myself my handy dandy rigid putty knife, and I put a little file to the edge there, made it nice and flat and sharp, and I just kind of wedged it in between the corner right here, and just I started on the corner and I just slowly pried it, and it just barely cracks the plastic off at the bottom. And then I scored it at any point where I thought it might start to crack up into the plastic. And you have to be careful, because if you pry too hard, it'll crack right up into the body, and then you're really screwed. So I practiced that and got those apart. Now when I got the new ones, I practiced what I tried, and sure enough it worked just fine. If you look close here though, you can see where it cracks a little above the line. You just have to go slow, but sure enough, it comes right off, no problem. And it's nice and clean. You can see the edge though is a little marred up here and a little wavy, but that's okay. I'm going to glue that right back down. So once you take that apart, you have the other two pieces. And you have the back piece here, see that? It's like a line. Now that piece has to be removed. This piece here under my thumb has to be cut off, because it's just too complicated to try to drill a hole through this and get them all lined up without cracking any of the plastic. First of all, don't drill holes. I tried that and on this one, and you can see the result of drilling holes right here. It just cracks through the plastic. It's a total pain. You see this big crack here and there. It just makes cracks in the plastic once it breaches the bottom layer. Just the drill bit catches and it just cracks the crap out of it. So you don't want to do that, because obviously less cracks means more durability. So what I wound up using was this, and it's a big giant cutoff wheel. This is meant for cutting steel, like lots of it in thick steel. This is a heavy duty badass cutoff wheel. You don't have to use this. You can use a little Dremel, but it might take you longer. But long story short, we come up with this. Now these LEDs I bought on eBay for $13 for 10 of them. I chose to put 5 in each light, and they're super bright. I'm going to plug it in and show it to you. But they screw in the back here, and I'll show you how I cut the grooves in there. But let me plug it in real quick, and so you can see just how bright they really are. And what I use to plug them in is I use a 12-volt lithium ion or lithium battery from the drill, because it's 12 volt, and these are 12-volt lights, and I got 12-volt lights because, well, cars run on 12 volt. See how that works? So let me plug this in. There they are plugged in. Now they're super bright. You can't even, the camera can't even deal with how bright they are. They are about 100 lumen each, and they're gonna light up. There we go. Just like an Audi lights up. When I put these lights in here, what I did was I cut slots using that cutoff wheel. They are measured out. The total length of the reflector is 21 centimeters. So I measured it in half, which would be 10.5 centimeters to here, and then I did 4 centimeters to here and 4 centimeters from here to here. Same thing over here, 4 centimeters to here and 4 centimeters from here to here. That gave me nice even spacing between the 5 LEDs, and so I found the center of them, and then I used my cutoff wheel to cut in and cut a gap that's big enough here. That gap is 1 centimeter across, which is about the size of the bolt, and it's about 2 centimeters deep. So it's 1 centimeter across and 2 centimeters deep, and that's how I cut those. Once you cut those, now you have to cut into the reflector. The reflector needs to have cutouts made so that the LEDs can fit in there and the case will close, because we're going to super glue the case back together again. I found power for my LED daytime running lights on the back of the windshield wiper bottle, because the pump for the windshield wiper fluid has a constant 12 volt, and it's on the back here. There's 2 of them. You can see it there. I tested it. It's the red wire with the gray dashes, and unplugged it, and I know that's a black wire, but it's just because my red wire was too fat to shove in there. So I'll fix that. But I'm going to run a splice into this wire, the red and the gray, and then I'll plug this back into the washer fluid bottle, and we'll get 12 volts when I turn the car on. I just wanted to give you a look at the wiring before I button it up, so you can see it coming out of the back here all bundled together. And I have excuse me, red for power, black for ground, and then I had to make a junction because they're kind of wide, and then I did a Y split, and then red for power and black for ground, and then it comes over to the other side over here, sorry, and that's the wiring. And if you hadn't noticed, you do have to take the bumper off to do this. There's lots of tutorials on how to take the bumper off. It's not a big deal. And then just to clarify, I used a self-tapping screw into the aluminum bumper, which is hollow. See? So it'll go through no problem. Just a small self-tapping screw, and I was able to put the ground wire onto that. And I tested it. Everything's zip tied together. And there's our power, which goes to the behind the water bottle there. It's all taped together, and we're ready to go. That's in direct sunlight, California sun, about 85 degrees, bright and sunny. They're very bright.